This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
It's the Dirty Laundry Game-Worn Hockey Podcast.
We're old school, right? We wash our own dirty laundry.
The name on the front is a hell of a lot more important than the one on the back.
I refuse to be judged by a grown man wearing a hockey jersey.
Game on!
Game on!
We are back with another episode of the Dirty Laundry Game-Worn Hockey Podcast, episode 104. We are cranking through the hundreds and had so much fun in the last show. God, what did we talk like almost an hour and a half after we got off recording? It was such a fun. I'm definitely glad he joined us. I know I've talked to him a bunch since then. Paul, you have as well. Wade, I'm assuming you have.
Yeah, yes. Which I thought was really nice.
Yeah, no, super great. Bill was an awesome guest, and we do really appreciate it. Lots of different things we're going to touch on tonight. Of course, the drink this evening is Weller Special Reserve. A lot of people do like Weller. I see in the bourbon groups I'm in, people try and get every Weller that's available. That's one of the harder ones, I believe, to get. So that is my old fashioned of the week. And it is a special salute, however. Mr. Dr. Pepper is celebrating his birthday today. So happy birthday, Wade.
Thank you. Hopefully, it was
hopefully you enjoyed a good family dinner.
Yeah, I had a nice dinner tonight. Went to one of my favorite places here in town and got a nice ribeye. And I worked today. Adulthood called. But, you know, at the end of the day, it was nice. Were really great and took really nice care of me for the day. And I had a really nice day, all things considered. So I'm waiting for all the free jerseys to show up.
That's UPS is slow to deliver. You'll see them in a couple weeks, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I was waiting for all the jerseys to show up today, but I know they're all in the mail. So thank everybody. But no, thanks. Thanks to the one thing I did want to throw out was, all the hobby friend messages and Facebook stuff. Really felt nice to have so many people show. And so thank you guys. And I'm humbly thankful for hobby and all the friendships it's provided me.
Yeah, it's always great. My birthday was a few weeks ago, getting all the messages and stuff. So it is super cool, and all of us appreciate that kind of support. So
yeah, for sure.
The sponsor of the show, Mitch, with the Drink Your Face Off line of barware and clothing. Please reach out to Mitch if you are looking for that. I can't believe tomorrow is the calendar first day of fall or autumn. Come on. It was 114 degrees here the other day. We ain't quite ready for fall. I know a lot of people like to wear the jerseys. We're just not quite there yet.
Fall begins on August 1st.
That's all the posts I've seen all over online this year. I'm like, that seems early, but again, I don't really track that stuff closely. Go ahead.
The only argument I can make on that is irregular season football started tonight with the Lions playing. The Lions are playing the Chargers. The game's on right now here. Yeah. Just boring as hell. I just hate these preseason games or irregular season games. But the thing which would really get us into being fall would be English Division II and Germany Division II starts on Saturday. So we have real soccer league. And then the upper division is still a few weeks away. But yeah, no, I still think it's the middle of summer. And I'll be honest, we've been very lucky in San Jose. Wow. We have not had the terrible, 95-degree days. I think we have not put on the air conditioner one day yet. It's been a really nice summer.
And to our Canadian friends who are dealing with all the wildfire, I know that has to suck up there, but I currently have all the smoke down here. It's actually drifted down this far. Yeah. It is hazy as hell throughout Illinois right now. It's insane. But I hope everybody who is up there around that stuff is staying safe. But it's just crazy how far south that smoke can drift.
Wow.
The forum, we plugged it every so often. I wanted to push it again. Forums.dirtylaundryhockey.com. think that's right.
Correct.
It's
Yeah,
been a bit
forums
since I said
dot dirty
it. I
laundry hockey.
should have typed it in. Make sure you join that. We make sure when I don't forget or I'm too tired late at night to do it, post the shows out there. Make sure you start topics. There's sales. There's all that stuff. So make sure you get out there. We want to start pushing that a little bit more. You've got a little bit of Expo update. I know we kind of hit things heavy last week, but there is a kind of a little bit of an update.
Yeah, just minor updates. We're still working on the Vegas show. We have and we talked a little bit about possibly doing it at the Tropicana. We have another hotel, which I don't want to say where it is, but it's a better location. It looks like the rate's going to be better. I'm really excited about it, and hoping to have it finalized within the next 3-4 days, and then we can give more details on that. The one thing would have to get the room at the rate we're talking about is guarantee a certain number of rooms rented out. And that would probably, it sounds like to me, it's going to be a guarantee of like 10 rooms on Friday and Saturday night, which hopefully for a show in Vegas should not be a problem. And the room rates are highly, highly competitive compared to other rooms in the city that weekend. It's Frozen 4 weekend. Just want to go over a little bit about what happens that week. Thursday's the semifinals. Friday is,
and real quick on that too. I'm assuming they won't change it. When you did the semifinal games, and actually I was looking to go, one ticket gets you both games.
Yes.
And usually, because up till I was watching StubHub, and then an hour before the games, there was tickets for $8. I mean, Vegas may be a little higher, but in St. Louis, they had tickets as low as $8 to watch 2 hockey games.
Yeah, I think we paid under 100, and we were lower bowl on the blue line, like 15, 20 rows off the ice. And I mean, we could have waited to get the $8 seats, but we wanted to get good seats for that.
Sure, no, I don't blame you one bit.
That Western Denver game was a classic. That was just a great, great game. And the right team won, so happy about that.
Yes,
and
sure.
Yes, and we were celebrating a little bit too much, so we didn't pay nearly as much attention to the Penn State BU game, which also turned out to be a really good game. And then the finals was a lot of fun, and it was so happy to see Western get a championship. So, I should add, there's open practices on Wednesday if you're there early. Thursday's the semifinals, and even though it's Vegas, I do think we should be able to get decent ticket prices, because there's no teams close. So you'll have people, there's a core group that goes to every Frozen 4. And then the finals tickets in St. Louis got driven up because everyone from Western and Chicago drove down. I mean, it was amazing, the Western crowd there in St. Louis for the finals. So then Friday, there's the award ceremonies, the Hobie Baker, the Mike Richter Award, some other formal stuff like that. And then if possible, we're going to see if we can do setup and a small part of the expo Friday night, do the expo Saturday morning into early afternoon, and then go to the finals, which will be a short walk from where any location we're looking at. And the finals will start at 5 or 4, depending on what they do for the East Coast. And then, Sundays recover. And what's interesting, if you're coming out to Vegas from the East Coast, the Knights games are so much fun. They do a great job there. I know Sharks fans absolutely hate the Knights and hate everything about it. They think it's too much theater, but man, they put on just a great show, and it's a lot of fun. So that leads into Monday, April 13th. The Winnipeg Jets are in town, and if people want to stay even longer, on Wednesday, Seattle's in town, and would be able to work on getting tickets for people. And it's I think Monica and I are at least going to stay for the Jets game. We might stay for the Kraken game because that's her spring break, so she will not be missing any school except for what we missed the week before. So looking forward to that. I'm hoping by next week we can announce everything. If you are interested in going, reach out to me. I can give you some details on room rates and stuff. Well, I would like to think it's not going to be hard to get guarantees of 10 rooms rented.
No, that should be easy.
Yeah, if it is, I'm disappointed in all of us. But I think that would be easy. I do want to mention the San Jose Expo. We're looking at either the last day in January or a couple dates in February. I met with the Barracuda yesterday, and they're running it past event staff there, Calder's. We were talking about possibly doing the expo in the rink concourse itself and then breaking down before the game. Unfortunately, for the dates we have picked, they're specialty games, and we can't do that because they have to do the rehearsal for the special events that happen for that in the rink then. So that's all off limits. So we would be back up in Calder's where we did the show last year. It was a lot of fun. It was a little bit tight. And, we did pick the weekend of the state championship. So we had so many parents and kids in there, which was great, but also made parking terrible. And it got crowded a little bit, but it's still fun. So we'll be back up in Calder's. Hopefully we don't have that conflict again. And I was hoping to get the confirmed date today, but that will probably be in the next day or two. And so we'll push that out. And Wade, did you want to say anything more about St. Louis Expo?
No, I mean, I kind of started doing some stuff on it, really hitting it. I mean, I'm probably already well over 25 tables. So push 40 is kind of our number. So I think we're going to definitely get there. Some stuff going on with that logistic wise and working on logistics with their sponsorship type of name organizations and a few more signers I should be announcing in the next week or so. So I like to get those announced as soon as possible so people can get stuff to get signed. But coming together nicely, should be another fun event, and looking forward to hosting it.
Should be a great show. Looking forward
to it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Always is. Just a couple auctions. NHL auctions has sticks coming from the alumni charity. Those end August the 3rd. Migray has a couple, 24-25 Nashville Predators equipment bags. Those end August the 13th. They also have this goes back away, 13-14 Philadelphia Flyers nameplate auctions. Those end on August the 21st.
Wow.
So you got a little bit on that one. And just within the last, 30 minutes, the Avalanche auction, their playoff auction closed. Paul, you want to kind of skim and talk about those prices a little bit?
Yeah, we can cover some of them. I was actually surprised. The prices were a lot lower than I expected. There's away McKinnon's were $1,800 and $2,500. It looks like everything was one jersey this time, as opposed to the sets they've done in the past. So McKinnon for 18, 25. Where's the home ones? 18 and 18. So which I think is amazingly cheap for McKinnon. Considering when you look at Logan O'Connor went for $1,025. Makar was a good deal at $4,300. Charlie Coyle was only $4,500. Nelson $800. Blackwoods were $750. Devin Toes were $825. All in all, this to me it seemed a lot cheaper than their last couple auctions. And were these playoff sets, if I remember right?
Yeah, they were playoff.
Yeah, and they it was not their best playoff year, so that might have had something to do with it. But still, getting a McKinnon for $1,800 is shocking to me.
And looking at them too, it looks like they include, and again, they're come on, Avalanche. These are a lot of jerseys and their stuff, but put some description in this. All it says is 2025 Colorado Avalanche playoff. I'm looking at Marty Natchez. Says home jersey size 56. That's it. However, if you go look at the pictures, it also includes his playoff nameplate.
Oh, that is pretty cool.
So that's that's a nice little extra because those get expensive. His sold for $675. But come on, give me what games it was worn in. Give me something more. That's basic description there.
Yeah. So the one next to the Marty Nakis one is, to me, the most interesting one in the auction. That's Landeskog's home jersey from the playoffs, and that went for $3,500. Which I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, that was the most expensive one. No, the Makar was, sorry, that was $4,300. But still, that's the first Landeskog in a long time. And it's nice to have him back.
Oh, yeah. And on the fight strap, it says playoffs, and the equipment guy signed it. And those nameplates, God, they look like they're 3 feet long.
They do.
But it's funny looking at some of the other stuff is there's a signed golf flag that sold for higher than a bunch of jerseys did. And some of these, they also had hoodies in the auction. Some of these hoodies didn't sell for much less than some jerseys up there.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the McCarr hoodie was $1,000. Devin Toes was only $250. I mean, it's Charlie Coyle $175. It's
The Jimmy Vesey jersey $300.
yeah.
Yeah.
So interesting
Brock
option.
Nelson's hoodie was $50 more than Jimmy Vesey's jersey.
I don't know what that says about both of them.
Right.
Yeah. And then a lot of goal pucks, which I have no comment.
Yes. At least they're documented better than their jerseys are, but
Good point. Yeah.
but I mean, interesting auction. And it's always fun to see what end of season jerseys sell for across different teams and kind of compare. Wade, you also wanted to cover a little bit interesting auction that the Blues had this past week.
Yeah, the Blues had a rather interesting auction the past week. It included a set of blue 1992-93 with a 100 shell patch, and they were all labeled as set two. So it was a partial set. Some other interesting things, there were some hoodies in there as well. Like it was kind of a hodgepodge between that and some old training camp jerseys, which were got some good bids.
And actually, a side note on the training camp jersey, because I do really think that you more than me, even because you caught on it faster than I do, the whole breaking of the getting rid of Fanatics practice jerseys already, is these are their development camp jerseys from last year that are the Fanatics. Yeah. And they're nicer in the numbers, the way they did the numbers, and the nameplates are stitched on. They're not Velcroed.
Are these the ones with the little thing on the shoulder? The different color?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And they are. And then the one interesting thing too was the numbers on the back were 3-color, but it was like a supplemented 3-color number, not a triple stitch, which I thought was a neat ad. It was the first time the Blues have ever done anything like that. So I'm praying to God that they still somehow correct our game jerseys this year and add another layer to that color. But I have a feeling we're stuck with that. And when it gets on the ice and looks bad, I think they'll hopefully adjust that. But the one thing I really wanted to hit on with the auction was those 92-93 jerseys would typically have went for considerably more than they did. And I think the reason they didn't go for more was the Blues did an excellent job of describing them as it really only said the player's name, 92-93, and then jersey. Descriptions, they would say, this jersey is tagged set to, and the jersey shows little to no signs of visible wear or tear. It mentions that it never once says issued or worn, which I think was a really good, safe move by the Blues and something I really appreciated. Because they don't really have a tie to the equipment staff to know what they were. The prices on these were down in the sense that the list of players in it were really strong. I mean, there was Janney. I mean, the Shannon for $36.75. If that would have shown wear and tear and been probably more than what, in my opinion, and just my opinion, was an issued jersey, if not a backup jersey, but possibly never worn, of a 8,000 plus jersey, right? So my hat's off to the Blues for the way that they listed them and the way they described them, right? I thought that was very, very well done on their part. There will be the naysayers who will say, like, oh, well, they shouldn't have, or what it could have done this. And I understand. However, the thing that I appreciate is the Blues making that stuff available, and they're wording it in a way that takes the pressure off of them or the liability off the organization, but still allows fans to get stuff and collector stuff that you don't see other teams popping out with that stuff. That's really where I was on that whole thing. I admittedly did not bid on any of them because to me it was an issued set at best, and I would have been bidding on it more as an authentic issued jersey than a worn, a worn jersey. So I thought it was an interesting auction, and it did stir up some good conversation, which is what our hobby is really all about.
Yeah, and they did. They played it safe. They didn't oversell. Like you said,
No.
they didn't say, well, these were game worn and all. Calling them jerseys, they have set stamps in them. This is the year we know they're from. But if you're not seeing anywhere, which you would think in set twos you normally would, but again, who knows how many set twos they made up, all this kind of stuff. But they did.
Absolutely.
Their disclosure was great.
There have been other twos around the hobby. So like, it's not like it really did show, and it does demonstrate the fact that, a lot of teams in the era didn't stick to the one jersey set to premise that there are them. I think that sometimes people give credit for in that era, especially in the Blues in this case. So, and they've in the past when they've issued or sold stuff that was clearly worn, they've described it as, showing signs of wear. And have done a great job on that. I thought that was an important side note to put because it is such a different auction to be doing with vintage stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. And for anybody that got those, let us know once you got them, what you think of them in person, stuff like that. Love to see if you found where other marks or other notations, things like that. It's always cool to hear that stuff. But yeah, thank you
for
wanting to cover that.
Yeah, the one thing I did notice, I kind of determined what I thought I determined was the one thing I noticed was they were markered in the correct way. In other, one thing I did notice is none of those marker notations looked very washed in. So
yeah, very
fun
clean
stuff
across the
Good
board.
stuff. Yeah.
I'd be curious if and again, if anybody got one of these and is willing to share, be curious if the born on tag on the inside is still there.
Still in them. Yeah. Yeah. They would have been neat to get their hands on. I mean, whoever got them, congratulations. Honestly, any of those jerseys, even as issued, sold their prices. Like I said, for me, it wasn't something that I felt I needed to add. But if anybody got one, I feel like you did get a pretty good deal across the board. Because heck, just getting one of those jerseys and getting it put together at that level would be nearly impossible.
And speaking of good deals, it appears, well, I know I got a good deal. I think Paul got some good deals. I know Mitch got some good deals, and I'm assuming others as well. The Sharks did one of their many Sidewalk sales on Saturday, didn't they, Paul?
Yes, they did. It was actually Friday.
Was it? Yeah, it was Friday. Weekend all runs together.
It was 4:00 for season ticket holders, 5:00 for everyone else. And there was still stuff left when they opened the doors for everyone else. So we can do our weekly Celebrini watch. And shockingly, there were no Celebrini jerseys there. So we don't have to worry about that. But if you recall, at the last auction, it was a one period wonder Celebrini for, I forget what it was, and a one period wonder Smith from his first game, third period, which sold for $5K. Well, it looks like the person who won that never paid for it. So that showed up at the Sidewalk sale, and someone walked away with that for $5K. There was also another Smith there, which was a one-game wonder, possibly one period from that game, which sold for was only $1,500 there. It was almost, excuse me, almost no wear on it. But, $1,500 for a Smith seemed like, even if it's a period wonder, at this point, a pretty good price. I mentioned last week that we were going to be disappointed with the Sidewalk sale. It was actually pretty decent. They had probably 20 to 30 jerseys besides the two I already mentioned. A lot of away jerseys from later in the year. And then some home jerseys, but from most jerseys were 500 to 900, besides the two Smiths that I mentioned. I did pass on the one game wonder white Bordelot from his one NHL game this year. That was 500 or 600, and it was Fanatic. So yes, I did pass.
Wow.
Yes, I had it in my hands, and nope, I did not break down. So the world is still sane.
How close did you get?
Not even close at all. It's someone handed it to me. It's like, thank you. No, it's Mitch thought it was game issued, but it's like, no, it was from the one game he played where he got a concussion this year,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So no, not close. There were other cool things. They had the modest number of gloves, mostly from the Barracuda. Even going back to the All-Star game 2 seasons ago,
Oh
they
wow.
had they had some of those, and then they had goalie gear. And
Yeah.
before we get to goalie gear, I want to talk about. Well, I mean, there was a lot of T-shirts, jackets, uh, not game or no, not team worn stuff, but fan type stuff, which was pretty cool. They had these Barracuda boxes where the teal on it was the color was off, so the team never used them. I picked up this great large box on wheels with hard sides, which will be great for expos for putting jerseys in, because we all know how much of a pain it is to move a large hockey bag full of
Oh yeah.
jerseys. So these you
Anything
can
with wheels is
wheel.
easier.
Oh yeah, it's I don't know if I trusted on setting it on a plane, but when I'm driving to an expo, it's definitely what I'm going to be using. Mitch picked up one, so did Justin, and I think that might have been it for the ones on wheels. And then they had smaller sizes, and they have some of those left. They're really pretty cool, and I didn't think the color was off that bad. So it was a unique find, really cool to get. And then we can get into the goalie gear, and some of that goalie gear is already in St. Louis. And
Yes. And awesome that you had sent me pictures. Was that that was the only two set of pads they had there, correct? The
yes,
Arundel, which what I went with, and then who was the other goalie's gear?
Askarov,
Yes.
and that's The Askarov is going somewhere else in the Bay Area.
Oh,
You
very
got
nice.
Yes, yeah. Those everyone they're all already claimed. The dull pads, you have photos of him wearing them in Wichita, and it's how would he describe that? Lightning bolt,
He
scarecrow? Yeah,
no, yeah, he called him the scarecrow, his scarecrow set. Because
yes.
after you sent me the pictures, and I'm like, and the size, because I'm for anybody that doesn't know, I'm only 5'9", so finding NHL goalie gear that fits is somewhat hard. At least in the pad side, gloves aren't as big a deal. But Bowers is what I play in now. I use a small, and I know I also fit in a medium. So when you told me they're medium, I'm like, it's a done deal. Pick those up. But I knew, because when I started searching around for what he wore, he is a Brian's guy. He's not a Bauer pad guy. I mean, his entire career, he's always been in Brian's with some cool designs. I need to actually shoot him a message on Instagram and say, is there a reason why you did Bauer that year? But did some search basically for his name and Bauer pads. And I found his Instagram post, which both Paul, you and Mitch had also found and forwarded on to me, of him celebrating the picture in the locker room when the set was delivered, and then a picture of him in them on the ice. But yeah, he called it his scarecrow set, and part of it's probably because he was in Wichita with the Thunder.
And they're very cool looking, and I don't mean this as an insult. It looks like there's a lot of life left in them.
Oh, there's a ton. I went over them once I unboxed them and spent some time with them this afternoon, really looking at them. And you found it too on there's a delivery date, and it even matches his Instagram stuff. And that the delivery date was, or the manufacturer date was October of 24, and his first post on them is early November. So he didn't even have these long to wear. But they're the fancy, they're digiprint. I'll even post a picture in with the with our post tonight. But they are super solid. It's the Bauer, they're called Shadow, and they are badass. I am very excited to break those into me very shortly.
Yeah, we need to get a photo of you in them and turn it into another card.
Yes.
So, I think that would look great. So they really are sharp looking, and I'm so happy you're going to be using them. It's just perfect.
Yes, thank you so much for that. And I already wear his skates when I'm not using my other pair of Bauer skates that I use. So it's funny how much of his gear fits. I just wish he was full right. So if we find the gloves, they'll work for me, because I not do well opposite hand. But we'll get that figured out. But no, they are absolutely gorgeous, even in teal and that, and I absolutely love it. So thank you for all your hard work. I say it looked like they had a cool stuff. Didn't you even pick up, or was it Mitch that got the antique starter jacket?
Oh, that's I picked up, and that's going to Justin, who is not here tonight. But yeah, it's a big puffy jacket. It ended up in my pile, and it's just like, oh, okay, I'll take it. I thought it had gone back, so that will go to Justin Walden, and who unfortunately is not here tonight, but he probably has more Shark stuff than any other team right now. It looks like.
That's hey, I mean it's a good one, especially being closer, a little bit closer that way. So a couple other.
Oh, before we go on, you picked up one other thing at the sale too, which you didn't use tonight, but.
Oh yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry, I should have washed that glass, but I'll let you explain that cool thing.
Yeah, they had two boxes of a whiskey set that was given as years ago as a gift to suite holders. So it was 2 whiskey glasses, a big wood crate box, 6 whiskey stones, couple coasters, and then a spot in the box to put a bottle of whiskey, which unfortunately didn't come with the set. That would have been, that would have sealed the deal right there. It had a decent bottle of whiskey in it. But they sold some of them at the stores. They had 2 left, and I have 1, and Doc has 1.
Yeah, they are
probably
regardless of the
next
team.
week.
The logo's in the center of the top of the wood case, and it's I think it's oak. I mean, it is real oak. It is beautiful setup. Those are to buy them new from somebody, they are damn expensive. But no, that is a beautiful setup. I will next week I will make sure I drink out of that glass.
Excellent.
So a couple different things. I'll touch on some of the breaking news that came out this morning, and then we'll get into the bigger topics here. This came from the was on the Amin El Hassan. He's NBA insider and former team executive, was on the Dan Le Batard show and talked about, for about the last 18 months, the Miami Heat had equipment, game jerseys, collectibles, all kind of memorabilia stolen. He alleges, this is all alleged right now. I don't think the teams even confirmed it, but it's across news everywhere if you search for it. Quote, sold for many, many millions of dollars, perhaps one of the largest heist of its kind. According to him, authenticated NBA Finals collectibles belonging to the Heat were stolen and sold over a span of at least 18 months, both on the open and black market. As it was described to me, this is the largest, if not the largest, memorabilia heist in the history of the country in any sport. Experts say the financial value of the missing items could be enormous. The FBI wouldn't confirm any investigation. Those amount of jerseys, and I mean, it's game worn stuff. It's everything. And some of the couple of the articles that expanded a little bit more, it talked about whole sets of jerseys are missing. So I know this is basketball and NBA stuff, but I wanted to bring it up, one, because it's still the hobby, and that exploded this morning when that after he was on that show. So if you see stuff out there or want to read more up on it, just search for Miami Heat memorabilia and you'll find all kinds of articles. Or you can go if you go listen to that podcast, you'll be able to hear that interview. So I couldn't imagine the amount of stuff, especially from NBA Finals.
I have a computer problem.
What's that?
I apologize.
That's okay. You're all good. The other thing is we're waiting for Paul to get back on here too. I want to bring up the other thing, and it starts on let me get the date here.
Sorry about that. I'm dog sitting in Southern California.
No, you're all good.
And Hazel was reminding me that it's time to eat yet again. So we had to take care of that. So.
I know we've seen some of the posts on different of the collectible Facebook pages about the de minimis packages, which basically it's an exemption on items or packages worth less than $800. That is going away very soon. It will end on August 29th. So basically,
this is in regards to importing stuff from other
correct.
countries. Yes, to be clear.
So
Yeah.
packages under $800 have always had the exemption from added duties. This is Temu, Sheen, all those kind of places really take advantage of it. But it's also anything of that value coming in. When you do the not the, I would say tariff sheets, but the customs forms, and you put values on there, if it's over 800, it will now get dinged.
No, if it's under 800, it will. And now,
it doesn't matter the amount now. The excuse me. One of the pieces, there's a slight piece of this. This is American travelers can still, quote, bring back up to $200 in personal items, and individuals can continue to receive bona fide gifts valued at $100 or less duty free. So even, and this is from Axios, is who put these details out. If you even mark something as a gift, but put the value at $500 or $600 or $700, they're going to put duties to that. This is as of yesterday. This information broke August the 29th. Could it change again? Yes, but this will definitely impact a lot of people, especially getting even me from my side. If I was ordering gear that was made in Canada, well, that's a $3,000 bill. If I was doing a full goalie setup, you imagine what kind of rates I would be paying on that.
So I just want to back up on the history of this. This was part of the big whatever bill that was recently passed. And it was supposed to go into effect in, I believe it was May of 2027.
Correct.
It was spring of 2027. So now by executive order, it is going to go into effect the end of August. And I didn't know about the $200 stuff that you mentioned there. And it's very possible that could change. But I just want to, a lot of things happen in these big bills. I'm step back even further. One of the COVID bills, that's the one that it used to be when you're selling on eBay or something else, it was $5,000 and 200 transactions. Then you got a 1099. Then they switched it to, I believe it was $600 and didn't matter how many transactions. Well, the IRS realized that is going to be a nightmare to implement. So what they keep changing how much the limits on it. Last year, for tax year 2024, the limit was 5,000. So if you sold less than 5,000 on eBay, you did not get a 1099. You sold more than 5,000, you got a 1099. This year, the original stuff I saw was supposed to be 2,500 for that, and it might go back to 5,000. I'm not sure, and I'm bringing this up because a lot of these changes, which affect our hobby, happen in these massive bills. The recent one was massive. The COVID one, where this was, I think that was the Inflation Reduction Act. I can't recall which one, but there's so many things in these bills, and a lot of them affect the hobby and affect regular people in ways I don't think the people voting on these realize what's going to happen. And that's not a shot at any party. It's a shot at both parties in these massive bills, which really cause some problems. And so I'm done ranting. So Doc, you can go on.
And one other piece of this too is there's two different ways that this could hit you. As goods shipped through the Postal Service will face one of two tariffs, either an ad valorem duty equal to the effective tariff rate of the package's country of origin, or a specific tariff of $80 to $200 depending on the country of origin's tariff rate. So that's it depends on where it falls that what thing gets applied, but it could get very expensive. And I feel bad for the like classic auctions because they're based out of Canada, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
That will definitely hurt them, I think, in the bidding, because when that comes across the border, holy cow, watch out. So that's something. And again, things may change again once we get close to the end of August, but it is anything.
So I have a few comments to add to this. The reason I brought up the 1099 issue and why it got switched from 600 to 5,000 now to 2,500 or 5,000 is the amount of work it was going to take to implement by the IRS and everyone else. And everyone who's selling garage sale stuff on eBay was ridiculous. And it still is ridiculous if it goes down to 600. It's just not practical. The same thing is happening here. When you're removing that limit, and now we have, I don't even know the number of packages coming into the US from Canada, from Europe, wherever, and every one of those might be subject and held up in customs for tariffs and additional stuff. I can't imagine the amount of workforce that's going to take and how much it's going to delay things. So I think, I'm hoping that common sense prevails and somehow that gets changed back. Things or changed to something more reasonable. And the other point I want to make on it, which has nothing to do with the old 1099s or the example which happened there, is this sows a world of uncertainty into our hobby.
Yes.
And I'll be honest, I don't want anything coming to my house from Canada, starting on August 28th or whatever. If this goes into effect, I don't want to be dealing with that. I will not be buying jerseys from the Jets or the Flames or Sorry Mark or from Classic. It's until this is resolved and there's less uncertainty, because I have no idea what additional cost I will be hit with. Even though
and that's going to be the hardest.
Yeah, go ahead, Wade.
Yeah, part of it. That'll absolutely be the hardest part of it is, what are you going to get hit with? You've already allocated towards the spending, knowing that there is a buyer's fee, knowing that they're going to hit you with the shipping, beyond whatever. I mean, it really will change the complexion of how you would bid and whatever. And here, I'm going to throw this out there. If I'm an auction house, or if I'm an auction, I'm going to have somebody mailing it from the U.S. It would be almost costly because you would otherwise be in a lot of trouble.
So you broke up there a little bit, but are you suggesting if you're an auction house in Canada, you smuggle the jerseys into the U.S.?
If I were a business in Canada, or even a business in the United States close to the border, and I could get across the border to allocate shipping without.
Yeah, no, I see what you're going.
Yes, yeah.
Your internet's still being a little shaky, but yeah,
I
do that in small amounts. The problem is, and again, I'm not a customs lawyer. I don't know any of how some of that stuff functions, but I know both sides of the border, Canada and the U.S., track the running back and forth that people are doing, and if it looks shady, they're going to investigate it.
For sure.
The de minimis
I'm
law
not
goes
disagreeing
back all the way to 1930, by the way. It was $200 at that point, and then in 2016, Congress raised it to $800. Yeah. So even before then, you should have been paying higher fees, but I think most cases it wasn't happening.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting...
Go ahead, Wade.
Oh, it's going to be interesting in the hobby. Sorry, I'm breaking up the show, so I apologize.
I know what you should have asked for your birthday. Better internet.
Next year.
Yes. So and we've touched on a ton of crap already, but one of the kind of main topics that we did want to touch on after God, what was that? Just last week or the week before, the huge explosive story of all the fake autographs and the one gentleman posting the very long details, and then and regardless of his place in it, how deep he was involved, the fraud or whatever he did, nobody should ever think it's bad enough to take their life. If you're ever, and this goes for all the listeners of this show, if you're ever in the point where you're thinking about that, reach out to one of us, even if you don't know who we are. That's the kind of things I used to deal with as somebody in EMS, and to going to those calls was the worst thing. And I've seen all kinds, people in garages, people with firearms, things like that. If, again, regardless of if you know us or not, it will be confidential. Reach out to somebody and talk about this, because even no matter how bad things are in your life, don't hurt yourself and everybody else. Messes can be cleaned up somehow. Just a side rant, because I've seen way too many of them in doing volunteer firefighter and EMS stuff. So please feel free to reach out to any of us, and we will take all the time needed to help you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's
I
definitely
could not say that better. But go ahead, Wade.
Yeah. No, I do want to touch. I know we wanted to talk about the autograph stuff, and with my inaction, I'm probably going to we'll deflect this a little bit till next week to Chicago. Trying to get to Chicago this weekend for the Sports National, which is going on as we shoot. But I'll be up there on probably Saturday and Sunday. I definitely want to talk to people about the situation, and I want to have good internet when we do it. But
yeah, no, you know what? That's good. We can plan for that instead.
Quick, the manifesto on that, I think some of those numbers were exaggerated. I think that was for it to get piece out there. And what was going on, that's never the answer. But I do think, there's jersey, whether it's autographs, whatever. The unfortunate part is this is a lot of people to thing that's signed that didn't. I think it's a really fun topic of conversation that we can really get into next week.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, why don't you do that? Talk to them up there, kind of see how things go. And then we'll pick it back up next week, because we have covered a lot this week already. Then it'll give, if anybody else out there hears us talking about it now, or either has some knowledge on it or other things, feel free to message us on that, or possibly come on soon and discuss that.
Yeah.
But we have covered a lot, gentlemen, and Paul, you've traveled a lot today. I know you're tired. I recorded the other podcast I'm a producer for last night, and was out until almost 11:30 doing that. And so we've all had, and Wade with his birthday, I mean, we've all had a very long and busy day. So I think we'll wrap this up. Wade, any final thoughts from you, since you're the birthday boy?
No, thank you guys for the show again. Looking forward to the autograph discussion next week. I really want to be prepared for that. And, just thanks to everybody out there who reached out for the birthday, and excited that with football starting, I feel like hockey is just around the corner.
Yes.
Yeah, we're ticking quick. It's funny now seeing all the posts in the different groups, the jersey number countdown. It's always fun when you get under 100 to be able to start doing that. So very exciting. We'll be back next week. We'll cover this. Other stuff. We've got some great guests coming up in the pipeline too. Holy cow, it's going to be fun. Paul heading off to Germany later this month, so we'll be able to talk about that. We've got so much coming. But again, if you have topics, if you want to come on the show, reach out to one of us. We will definitely get you scheduled, even if we normally record on Thursday nights, but we have done a number of interviews on non-Thursdays to work for people's schedules. We will definitely make that work. Paul, final thoughts from you.
Well, first off, most importantly, happy birthday to Wade. It's just, huge birthday wishes to you.
I can't believe I'm 25.
I know. Again, yes. We'll do this again.
You lost your hair at 11.
He had hair. No, it's I so happy he had a great day, and just a happy birthday. I am thrilled to be going to Germany. Monica and I leave, I think, the 21st. So I'll miss that show, and I'll miss probably the show after, because I'll be in Germany, and that will be, unless I can figure out how to do the timing for that. Interestingly, I leave on the 21st. I come back on September 2nd, and what Doc brought up with the limit going from 800 to 200 coming back, I'm worried what customs lines are going to be like, those first couple of days. That's another thing. And I have my when I come back, I have my what is it? Global entry interview in San Francisco as I come back from Germany. So hopefully that might get me through a little bit faster. But I haven't. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. The trip's going to be exciting, and it's just very, very excited. So.
Well, everybody give us a like, subscribe, follow. If you've got friends that you think might like the show, share it out. Go if you're on Apple, comment, like, do all that stuff. We want to try and get in their metrics more to climb the ladder. Like us across everything, share it out. And thank you again for all the support. We'll see you back next week.